anything on the news?
More mob violence in Moscow earlier this week, as the home of Konstantin Brayko, reported to be the head of one of the most powerful organized crime families in Moscow, was attacked by rival gang members.
Brayko himself was badly injured in the attack and was taken to St. Alesky Hospital for treatment. Police spokesmen say he will be charged as soon as he is well enough to be discharged.
Mr. Brayko had no statement for the press, but as he was being loaded into the ambulance, he was heard to remark that the party responsible for the attack was an expletive American commando cowboy like the expletive offspring of Ronald Reagan and an expletive American ninja. Police spokesmen assure us that they are following all leads, but a source within the hospital stated on condition of anonymity that, quote, the man had enough cocaine in him to make a baleen whale see Jesus.
I guess he never heard of Just Say No.
A new museum exhibit has caused chaos in the streets of Rome. The Roman Museum of Natural History opened up its Crusades exhibit earlier last week, prompting claims of religious intolerance by protesters who have crowded the downtown area and even threatened visitors. Officials for the museum defended the exhibit, claiming it was a critical examination of the time period based on historical evidence. Roman police have kept the scene under control, but fear a full-scale riot could break out if the numbers gathered outside the museum continue to increase. Tragic news for dog lovers. The latest target of scammers are online puppy buyers, those seeking the comfort of canine companionship via the internet.
Many organizations have received complaints from buyers who have been taken in by multiple false claims, including the dreaded Nigerian pet scam, and lost hundreds of dollars.
Consumers have been asked not to trust any pictures of puppies they are sent. According to the Humane Society, just because you receive a picture from someone on the web does not necessarily mean that thing is real. Sobering news.
Breaking news from Moscow this morning. Last night, the United States Embassy was the victim of a terrorist attack. According to eyewitnesses speaking exclusively to INN, the attackers were well armed and struck with military precision. Thus far, no group has stepped forward to take credit for the attack.
Russian FSB spokesmen have not released many details of the incident, but have assured the press that they are cooperating closely with American agents on the scene. The death toll is believed to be somewhere near 50, although a final tally will not be possible until a full report is released later this month.
Reports that Sergei Surkov, a Muscovite entrepreneur and reputed former leader of the Russian mob, was the actual target of the assault, remain unconfirmed at this time. However, sources have claimed Surkov was present at the embassy on the night of the attack. Mr. Surkov could not be reached for comment. In fashion news, designer Robin Goulet's latest show in New York was greeted with surprisingly mixed reviews.
The focal point of the show was the controversial theme of ruined beauty. Models dressed in Goulet's latest designs would stroll to the end of the runway, where they were actually drenched in real pig blood.
Well, many did find it outrageous, some less so. Fans of the designer called it a, quote, new and breathtaking twist in fashion, while critics called it, quote, gaudy, overblown, and completely gross. And various animal rights groups picketed the show, claiming it was, quote, disrespectful to the suffering of fellow creatures.
In response to these protests, Goulet labeled the protesters as stupid dumbfaces who needed to get the F over themselves, end quote. In Moscow today, authorities are baffled by the aftermath of a shootout at the Leningradsky train yard, which left several dead and an estimated $500,000 in property damage.
The identities of the victims have not yet been released, but according to an unnamed source within the investigation, several of the deceased were armed with military-grade weaponry and body armor. No word yet as to whether these men were associated with any foreign government or were acting independently.
In related news, Russia's Prime Minister has announced that new legislation will be enacted early next year to tighten security at Russia's borders.
Looks like the Iron Curtain may be coming down again, huh?
It certainly does.
We've always known that kids enjoy candy, but what are some of the downsides to this link? A recent study by scientists of the American Medical Association has linked the consumption of sugar to hyperactivity and inattentiveness in kids, especially when combined with an empty stomach.
Apparently, after normal, healthy children are given a great deal of sugar, their bodies release vast quantities of the hormone adrenaline, which turns even the calmest child into an uncontrollable hellion. According to one researcher, we gave them a bag of candy bars, and then in like a half hour they were running around being crazy, end quote.
Researchers managing the study recommended parents attempt to reduce their child's sugar intake or at least balance it with other snacks containing fat and carbohydrates. Like chips and pretzels, right?
Yes, Melissa, that would probably work. But parents should remain aware of the dangers that sugar poses to their children and their families.
Well, that's certainly food for thought.
Pleasure cruisers on the Moscow River received a shock this morning when they discovered an empty yacht floating unattended on the river. Muscovite police were summoned to the scene after bloodstains and signs of a violent struggle were detected on the boat's deck.
Talk about your ghost ship.
Ghost ship indeed. Police are dragging the river where the yacht was found, but no bodies have been located yet.
Spooky. Chinese government officials today announced that the People's Republic would issue sanctions against any nation recognizing Taiwan as an independent state.
The Chinese have always held the official position that Taiwan is merely a breakaway province. But with Taiwanese President Ronald Sung's calls for official separation from the mainland, Chinese officials are growing nervous.
When asked what form economic sanctions might take, the Chinese ambassador to the United States said, quote, "We will take all actions deemed necessary and appropriate to safeguard Chinese sovereignty."
More mob violence in Moscow earlier this week as the home of constant...
Narcissist much?
Thornton, my apologies for relieving you of your weapons, but I'm sure you understand.
I wouldn't want anyone walking into my home with a gun either.
Of course. So, I have an aggressive schedule over the next few days. Let's get to the point. Tell me everything you've discovered about our Rome operation. Specifics, please.
I've discovered you ask a lot of questions. You're not getting any answers.
We'll see. I had hoped you would be willing to cooperate, but I haven't provided the right incentive. That was 10,000 volts. Beat Mr. Thornton until he can no longer stand, but leave him able to speak.
Oh, I guess that's that. No, I just need my gear. Mina, do you read me?
I'm here, Mike. Are you inside?
Yeah, but they've got me locked in. Can you override the security systems?
No, I can't patch through to security. I'm sorry, Mike.
Would Madison or Z know the layout?
It depends who you want to help you out, Mike. I can patch Madison through, or I can stay on the line. Just say the word.
Madison's been here before, Mina. She has first-hand knowledge of the villa.
All right, Mike. It's your call. I'll transmit the frequency for her to use. How does this thing work? Okay, I think I've got it.
Madison, can you hear me?
Yes? Mike, I'm not really sure how much I can help.
You know this villa better than me. Just call out if there's something I should know, like cameras or explosives or armed guards.
Okay.
All right then, let's go.
Marburg's gallery is ahead.
What's through the side door?
His office.
That sounds interesting. The phone on the desk is flashing.
Marburg's private line. You should be able to listen in. Just be careful when you hit the speaker button.
Do I proceed? It depends. Is everything in place? Almost. There's a few last things that need to be taken care of, but I don't anticipate any problems. I hope not. Call me when you have something more.
What have we here?
Game room's coming up. There's usually a few guards lounging in there.
I hope it's nothing like Braco's game room.
What?
Never mind. So should I take it slow?
If they haven't heard the bullets already, I don't know. It's a 2-story gallery, so...
I'll watch for snipers. Looks like I'm entering a cafe.
It's a bar area. Should be pool tables around.
Good. Might have time for a quick game. Open sesame.
I heard the guards mention that Marburg had a secret tunnel. This must be it.